Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at the star afflatus and some team ideas, some character overviews, and a little bit of a play guide as well to make the most of your characters, especially if you're struggling with Limbo or anything like that. We're going to go through some beginner tips for first early players and some advanced tips as well, and some fun teams along the way as well. Something notable about the star afflatus is that a lot of the characters, such as Blonnie or Lilia and Regulus, they really want to crit. So I think some people also kind of call star as the crit afflatus. So if you're into crit dealing characters, this is the video for you. But alternatively as well, there are wonderful characters such as Baby Blue and even 37 that are great support characters. Voyager as well, of course, who can offer Seal in her kit, and Tooth Fairy being the absolute hands down best healer and support in the game as well. There are more niche characters like Oliver Fogg and the Fool, who offer like sustainability and survivability to your teams, and even 3 stars like Sputnik and Alien T, who I have not invested into, that are defense based characters. A character such as TTT specializes in Moxie as well as Regulus. They are very helpful with that, and you might see a little team with them later on as well. But let's get into some teams and how to play them. So our first team today is going to be an early player, like a start out team. You can use Oliver Fogg or Matilda for this. Matilda, of course, is a free character, and Oliver Fogg being a 4-star. And Apple is here as our healer and also do a little bit of damage, Apple being a free character as well. Eric is here because Eric can offer crit defense reduction, which is really great for crit characters like Matilda. Oliver Fogg is not necessarily a crit character, however he offers excellent self-sustainability. He takes a percentage of his health and gives himself a shield. He can also buff the team as well with their defenses. I'm using Oliver Fogg instead of Matilda, as my Matilda is criminally under-leveled and underappreciated. And for all of my trials today and showcasing, I wanted to actually use it in Limbo, either Limbo 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the current 1.4 patch, just so that I could actually show you that these teams, with my level of investment, which some of these teams are high investment, some of them are lower investment. This is a low investment team, and using these characters you could clear Limbo as well. So as you can see, this team works out really well. Oliver Fogg does good damage, and so does Eric. You might see Eric pop up later as well. This next team is a mental damage team with Baby Blue as the all-around mental debuffer. And we've got Charlie here. Charlie is being an amazing unit. I have a guide on Charlie if you want to check it out on the channel. Basically, Charlie is an incredible unit. She's good before P3. After P3, she's top tier. And Tooth Fairy is here to do some healing. Of course, if you don't have Tooth Fairy, you could use any healer. Tooth Fairy is just here to keep this as star-driven as possible. You'll notice as well with most of these videos that I'm trying to use as many star characters as well, in case you want to just have mono teams. But there's certain characters that can, switch around into other teams. Like Baby Blue here is a great mental support character. If you have another damage dealer that does mental damage, you could slot Baby Blue into that team as an alternative. And if you don't have Baby Blue yet, if you're just starting out, you could use Twin Sleep. Twin Sleep is a spirit character, but does a similar job to Baby Blue, and just does a little bit less damage. But as you can see here, this team works really well. It's really strong, and Charlie is pretty excellent. Matilda's here for fun. Now, here's Blonnie. There are some alternatives. Blonnie is my clearly favorite character in this game, and there's many different teams you could run with Blonnie, as I just kind of flashed on the screen. But for this, we're going to be using Blonnie as a crit character with a crit support like Tooth Fairy and Eric. Now, this is not my ideal Blonnie team, but this is, again, trying to show you that something more lower investment or easier to obtain, I guess, is possible, because I don't want you to feel like you have to pull out and do 5-star, 6-star only teams. This is Limbo 4, and Eric is holding her own here. So the idea behind this team is to stack confusion onto the enemy so that Blonnie can crit more, and Tooth Fairy helps out excellently with that, and Eric helps with the crit down. Blonnie works well with Anan Lee for the buff, of course, everyone does. Similarly so with Bacorn Bloom. You could also use a 5-star such as Tenet to help with the reality damage defense down that Tenet provides, as well as the shielding. Blonnie is, I believe, from 1.5 going to be added into the standard pool of 5 stars, so I'm hoping to swipe a couple of extra copies of her. And I think from the comments as well, some of you guys have been really waiting for her as well. So I feel like I need to do a Blonnie video. There's been so many showcases, but no actual guide now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, Blonnie's quite flexible, and again, there's many crit options, especially thanks to Eric. Okay, let's move into our next team. Our next team is a one-on, one-off type of team. I use that term sometimes. Regulus being a character that wants to act one turn, then take a break. Similarly with Pickles. Pickles is a mineral character, but this is an example of just a general support for Regulus as a main DPS. Pickles is great because he does massive buffing for the entire team. Tooth Fairy, sorry, not even Tooth Fairy. I did originally use Tooth Fairy, then I changed it to Apple because Regulus and Apple are a cute, fun duo thanks to the story of the game. But even here you can see Apple is enough to sustain this team, and Regulus does good damage. If you don't have Pickles, that's totally fine. You can use another character. You could use Darly Clatter as a 3-star, like, buffing character. You could also just use Regulus. I'm not Regulus. You could use Sonetto. She's free, and she's excellent as well, and she can do some really good damage. So with Regulus, the idea is that you're going to have one turn on, one turn off, and activate her passive, which helps her to get Moxie, which you're going to see more later. Here is a new, as of 1.4 type of team. I finally got my hands on Lilia, and so I could do a Lilia crit team. Now, 6 is here as being an amazing follow-up attack support. We're going to see more uses for 6 from 1.6 when we get GU, I believe her name is, as a follow-up based character. But at the moment, 6 has, for her buffing capabilities, she really needs follow-up attacks in the team in order for it to work. Lilia is a good example of this, and we have one more team coming out a little bit later in the video that is going to help 6 do damage and to also buff easier. This team, my Lilia is like resonant too. I only got her like 2 days ago, and I've been trying to build her, so please excuse Lilia's low damage. And again, Tooth Fairy can be swapped out for any healer that you have. You could even use La Source here. The idea is that 6 buffs and does some Genesis damage and follow-up attack damage. And Lilia does a bulk amount of the damage, and her follow-up attacks help 6 to stack Eureka, which is a new mechanic that's going to be getting more and more into this game, but that's for another video. I've actually been really enjoying Lilia. She's a lot of fun, similar to Blonnie, which a lot of people said, but just with follow-up attacks, which gives her a little bit of a unique spin. And yeah, as you can see, thanks to my underleveled Lilia, 37 carried that, and I'm pretty sure I said 36 at some point, which is excellent. This is another team for 37. This is using our queen, Miss Newbabble, as our primary damage dealer here, and as a follow-up attack support that's going to help 37 get Eureka faster to get her ultimate and her own follow-up attacks in her kit. Now, I'm actually using no healer in this. I'm using Voyager, Voyager is not a healer, of course, but Voyager has stability. What is it called? Stacks of 25% damage reduction in her kit with her counter, which is amazing. And she also has confusion, which helps Miss Newbabble crit when she does her follow-up attacks, which you could see just there. This team, thanks to Newbabble's shields and Voyager's damage reduction, is more than capable to survive some levels of Limbo and most content in the game. This is a great, very offensive team, and kind of a bit of a niche team, I guess, due to it being so passive, I guess. You're just waiting for the enemies to hit you so that Voyager can counter, and then Miss Newbabble can also follow-up attack as well. I'm excited for 37 to get some different teams in the future, and also Voyager as being a really universal support character. Voyager could be slotted into any other team. As a general support, she alphas confusion, which means she can support crit characters. As earlier, I showed Voyager as being an option for a support for Blonnie or Lilia, but as well as other characters, even 5-star like Sweetheart. You could use Voyager in teams with her as well. Any excuse to use Miss Newbabble, honestly. But yeah, that's a really fun team for me. And for our last video today, we're going to be looking at a Moxie-based team. So TTT is a 4-star support, generalistic control character, I guess. With her ultimate, she can apply disconcert, similarly to X, where she can prevent the enemy from gaining Moxie for 2 turns. And Regulus, with her level 2 incantation, she can actually reduce Moxie for the enemy by 1. So the idea behind this team is that if you're having a particularly aggressive Limbo, which is currently happening, where the enemies are getting Moxie faster and faster, using characters like Regulus that can reduce Moxie, or even characters like TTT to prevent them getting Moxie, work really well. Plus there's the added bonus that Regulus's dodging mechanic from after she uses her ultimate helps to protect TTT in higher levels of Limbo from more aggressive enemies and higher damage. I think TTT is quite an underrated unit. I built her for the purpose of this video actually, and was pleasantly surprised with 1, her numbers, and 2, how useful she was. And of course, Tooth Fairy is there as all-around healer, but you could slot in anyone else. So that's pretty much my overview guide for the Star afflatus and their characters. Just on the screen now, you're going to see the characters and the builds that I have with them. If you want to see anything, if you have any questions, like side tubes or stuff like that, so feel free to pause if necessary. But overall, I hope that this has helped you out with your star teams. If you're just joining the game, welcome. I hope you have fun. And if you're an experienced player, let me know what teams you're using. One character that I haven't used that is one of my favorites is the Fool. The Fool is really great in counter-based teams, but I feel like the Fool is more of a character that works not in mono star teams, so I didn't really showcase them today. But the Fool is, they will have their time to shine. I promise you that. But yeah, thank you so much for all the kind comments and everything in the videos. And let me know what you want to see next and what star teams you are playing. Okay, have fun, stay safe, and bye.